The war turned into a romance. When we meet a person, sometimes we put labels on them. We make wrong conclusions about their personalities. We see their essence from height of our own perception, superficially without wanting to look deeper. And how often we draw the wrong conclusions. All we had to do was to give the person time to open up, not to be prejudiced against his or her opponent, and not to exalt ourselves about him or her. Sometimes the universe gives us a second try to start dating again from the beginning, and sometimes a strong and lasting relationship grows out of a friendship. And so it happened with my friend Lena. The story is, to be honest, funny and ironic. Well, here's how to tell you can live for 2 years in one house and never once not run into each other's in the stairwell? How's it possible to get acquainted only when the young people began a real car war between them? The battle for a place in the sun, or rather a place to park in the driveway. But first things first. Lena had lived in her apartment in a 5-story house for a long time. As soon as she finished her university studies, she moved from her parents to a separate apartment to live on her own. Having found a job involving frequent business trips, Lena was given a working car. However, it was a long way from her house to the nearest parking lot, so the girl left her car outside her house at night. She even chose a certain spot, which luckily none of the other car owners encroached on. Until a certain day. As usual, on her way back from home, Lena drove into her yard and saw that her parking spot was already occupied by someone else's car. A neighbor, Lena thought angrily, it's his car. He had been parking in a different spot for 2 years, and now he wanted to take mine? Thus began a marathon called First Come, First Served. Literally, whoever came from home work first occupied a nice spot near the house under the shades of tree. Who does he think he is? Lena was angry. I'm a girl. He could have given in. The guy who really lived in their same house as Lena thought otherwise. As it turned out, Anton reasoned as follows. If women are so eager to be independent, hold a male position, famously drive a car, then between a man and a woman must be equal. Isn't that right? Well, who's to say that that seat under that tree belongs to her? Is it patented? Whoever gets there first takes it, fair and square. I can't stand him. With each passing day, Lena's anger at her neighbor grew more and more. She even tried to bang her heels louder on the stairs as she passed by his apartment to annoy him with the sound. And once she even wrote a note and put it between the wipers on his car. The note read, "If you're a real man, you won't put your car in my spot. I had it first." To which she received reply a day later in the same writing and in the same way the note the guy left on the windshield of Lena's car. Nice lady, this is not your parking place. Calm down and behave appropriately. You'd better take care of your nerves or you'll get wrinkles, Anton replied. Considering the answer as boorish, Lena hated her neighbor even more. By the way, It is worth saying that they had never seen each other in their eyes. Only from afar, they knew who lived in the apartment, who had what car, but they never had a chance to bump into each other head-on. Suddenly, late for work, Lena jumped out of the apartment and ran down the stairs in the entryway in 10-inch silets in boots. Just at that time, Anton ran out of his apartment, who was also late for work, and the young people literally ran into each other. "Well, we met." The boy smiled. "We were just taking notes. Aren't you the girl who's fighting with me over the parking space?" "Me?" boldly replied Lena. "Well, for the sake of such a nice and beautiful girl, I think I'll find another place for my car. From now on, I will not interfere with you. And to rehabilitate yourself in your eyes, I invite you tonight for a cup of coffee." In her mind, the girl thought that she would probably agree to a meeting, but only to teach the rascal a lesson, to spoil his evening and mood. That was the offended girl's cunning plan. They met once, then a second, third. It's amazing, but how interesting it is with him. Lena admired herself. Aiden wanted to take revenge. And when Anton left for a week on a business trip, the girl got bored. Not seeing his Mazda, color of rotten cherries in the yard, Lena felt uncomfortable. Something was missing. And she waited impatiently for his week to end and for Monday to come. After all, on Monday Anton should be back with his trip. Early in the morning, on her way to work, the girl saw from afar something white on the windshield of her car. "A note!" she exclaimed and increased her pace, and so it was. On the white sheet of paper in handwriting was written, "I miss you very much." That's how the war between neighbors turned into a romance. The young people felt as if they were on clouds. So easy it was for them to communicate with each other. And how often they recall how their acquaintance had begun. How they laughed at that fact that for 2 years each walked on their own every morning, passing by the door of the person who, as it turned out, would become the closest thing in the world. And how good it was too that carbs helped them reunite. A year passed, and such an ideal. No, not even passed, but flew by. The guys celebrated the New Year in Austria, both lovers of alpine skiing. They looked the funicular up the slope and admired the beauty that opened up in their arms. The fresh air was intoxicating, or maybe on their legs were shaky from the rush of their emotions. Suddenly, Anton grew serious, looked intently into Lena's eyes, and took out a small red velvet box. "Marry me," whispered the boy. "Yes!" shouted Lena, and her yes echoed throughout the neighborhood. By the way, she did not even have to move to a new place. All she had to do was take her step down from the 5th floor to the 3rd floor where Anton lived. And yet once, Lena could have easily missed the love of her life if her pride and selfishness had taken over, and she had refused to meet the guy. Who knows who he would now be hugging on the top of the Alps? And who knows how Lena's fate would have turned out? She might have won a parking space, but is that more important than a human relationship? Is it necessary to fight with neighbors, friends, acquaintances just to achieve their goals? Why do we so rarely seek compromise, thinking only about our own self? Why do we sometimes cut off in the heat of the moment, not giving the person a chance to open up? And how well that in this story everything happened as it should. Let's not be aggressive toward one another, because no one hears the voice of aggression. Let's learn how to be more tolerant, good-natured, and loyal to the people around us. Let's be open-minded. Stop living as if in a shell, caring only for yourselves and not wanting to let anyone else into your territory. It's awful when people live in the same house and don't even know what anyone's name is. After all, who knows? Maybe your neighbor is the prince you've been looking for so long, and he's actually right next door.